Imagine falling in love but having to keep it a secret for almost many years. This was the situation for Sonja and Crown Prince Harald of Norway. How did King Olav V eventually come to accept Sonja? What challenges did Sonja face as a commoner marrying into the royal family? Despite many challenges and royal rules, their love not only survived but also changed the Norwegian monarchy. How Harald's brave decision to confront his father, King Olav V, made history and led to Sonja becoming Norway's queen. Join us as we talking about their secret romance and the legacy they created. Don't miss this inspiring story of love, strength, and royalty. Sonja Haraldsen was born on July 4, 1937, in Oslo, Norway, to Carl August Haraldsen, a clothing merchant, and Dagny Ulriksen. She had 3 siblings, including Håkon Haraldsen, Gry Henriksen, and Carl Herman Haraldsen, who tragically died in a boating accident. Sonja grew up at Tuengenelle 1 billion in the Vinderen district of Oslo and completed her lower secondary education in 1954. She then pursued her studies in dressmaking and tailoring at the Oslo Vocational School and received a diploma from the École Professionnelle des Jeunes Filles in Lausanne, Switzerland, where she studied accounting, fashion design, and social science. After returning to Norway, she continued her education at the University of Oslo, earning an undergraduate degree. Harald, born 21 February 1937, is King of Norway. He succeeded to the throne on 17 January 1991. Harald was the 3rd child and only son of King Olav V of Norway and Princess Martha of Sweden. He was second in the line of succession at the time of his birth, behind his father. In 1940, as a result of the German occupation during World War II, the royal family went into exile. Harald spent part of his childhood in Sweden and the United States. He returned to Norway in 1945 and subsequently studied for periods at the University of Oslo, the Norwegian Military Academy, and Balliol College, Oxford. Following the death of his grandfather Håkon VII in 1957, Harald became crown prince as his father became king. Harald became king following his father's death in 1991. Charming first meeting, a romance that was frowned upon by the public, and a prince's pledge to never marry anyone other than his true love. King Harald and Queen Sonja's unlikely love story has all the elements of a gripping TV drama, so it's no wonder that their fairy tale romance has been adapted into a screenplay. Swedish media company Viaplay announced that they are producing a new series about the Norwegian monarch's relationship, which spans 6 decades. The couple's relationship was met with disapproval by the palace, as Sonja, whose father was a clothing merchant, came from a commoner background. After keeping their romance a secret for the best part of 9 years, was Harald finally permitted to marry the love of his life in 1968? King Harald V and Queen Sonja's love story is a captivating tale of a forbidden romance that blossomed into a lifelong partnership. In 1959, Crown Prince Harald was invited to a dinner party by his friend Johan Stenners, where he first laid eyes on his future wife Sonja Haraldsen. Speaking to national broadcaster in 2015, the couple agreed that it was a case of love at first sight. At the time, King Harald had recently celebrated his 21st birthday and completed his army training, which made him a cadet in the Norwegian Military Academy. Meanwhile, the future queen was a student at the University of Oslo, where she was studying English, French, and art history. But despite all this, Sonja was seen as an unsuitable match for the future King of Norway by the palace. However, Harald decided to start seeing Sonja anyway. About the pair's relationship, the broadcaster claimed that even Harald's father, King Olav, was unaware his son was dating Sonja at first. For one of Harald's birthdays, the king even invited his future daughter-in-law to the palace for a meal, but he reportedly ordered his son to cut contact with the girl of the people once he was made aware of their relationship. It is believed the monarch feared that his son would renounce his birthright like King Edward, who famously abdicated the British throne in 1936 to marry American divorcee Wallis Simpson. Instead, Olav demanded that his heir marry a woman with blue blood to ensure the future of the monarchy. In 1967, Crown Prince Harald and Sonja Haraldsen, who were in a controversial relationship, celebrated their 30th birthdays. King Olav V, Harald's father, was becoming more accepting of Sonja and invited her to join him on his yacht. The following year, in 1968, King Olav finally gave his consent for Harald and Sonja to marry. During this time, Prime Minister Per Borten stated that while his government would not formally support the marriage, they would also not oppose it. On August 29, 1968, Crown Prince Harald and Sonja Haraldsen were married in a grand ceremony at Oslo Cathedral. The wedding was attended by 850 guests and marked a significant moment in Norwegian history, as Sonja was a commoner and her marriage to the heir to the throne was initially controversial. For the occasion, Sonja chose a classic 1960s-style wedding gown designed by Norwegian designer Molstad. The dress was made of white silk and featured a high neck and bell-shaped skirt. Notably, Sonja opted not to wear a tiara, instead adorning her head with a garland of flowers, a nod to her Scandinavian roots. Crown Prince Harald followed tradition by wearing his Norwegian army uniform for the ceremony. In a heartwarming gesture, King Olav, Sonja's father-in-law, walked her down the aisle, as her own father had passed away in 1959. After the ceremony, the newlyweds received a 21-gun salute before heading to their reception at the royal palace. 3 years after their wedding, in 1971, Harald and Sonja welcomed their first child, Princess Martha Louise. Their son, Crown Prince Haakon, was born 2 years later in 1973. After the death of King Olav V on January 17, 1991, Sonja became Norway's first queen consort in 52 years. When King Harald V swore his oath to uphold the constitution in the Storting on January 21, 1991, Queen Sonja accompanied him. This was the first time in 69 years that a Norwegian queen had been present in the Storting. Since becoming king, Harald V has been accompanied by Queen Sonja at the formal opening of the autumn session of the Storting and the reading of the speech from the throne. The king and queen were consecrated in Nidaros Cathedral in Trondheim on June 23, 1991, in accordance with their own wishes. Following the consecration, they conducted a 10-day tour of southern Norway. In 1992, the entire royal family undertook a 22-day tour of Norway's 4 northernmost counties. Queen Sonja of Norway accompanies King Harald V on official state visits abroad, serving as the hostess when foreign heads of state visit Norway. Notably, she became the first queen to visit Antarctica in 2005, where she opened the Norwegian Troll Research Station in Queen Maud Land. The Queen flew to the location on a Royal Norwegian Air Force C-130H Hercules transport aircraft, landing at Troll Airfield. Additionally, Queen Sonja was awarded the Trysil Nut Prize in 2017, becoming the first woman to receive the honor. She has also been appointed a Rear Admiral in the Royal Norwegian Navy and a Brigadier in the Norwegian Army, having completed a basic officer training course and participated in exercises. On January 17, 2024, Queen Sonja celebrated 34 years as Norway's queen consort. Queen Sonja of Norway recently opened up about the miscarriage she suffered nearly 50 years ago, bravely sharing her story in an upcoming TV documentary. In 1970, when she was 32 years old and married to then Crown Prince Harald, Sonja was almost halfway through her first pregnancy when tragedy struck aboard the royal yacht. She awoke to cramps and bleeding and was rushed to the hospital, where she lost her baby boy. "I remember all the strange faces that bent over me when I was going into hospital," the Queen recalled. "It was horrid." Despite the devastating loss, Sonja and King Harald, who is currently recovering from an infection in Norway, have gone on to have 2 children together and celebrate over 50 years of marriage. Queen Sonja of Norway suffered a devastating miscarriage in 1970 while aboard the royal yacht, losing her first child, a baby boy, when she was 32 years old. She recalls the traumatic experience, saying of course it was a desperate situation. "I think it was absolutely horrific. I was lowered on a stretcher down the ship's side. The then princess was rushed to the hospital alone, as protocol did not allow her husband, the future King Harald, to accompany her to the maternity ward." After the loss, Queen Sonja faced speculation about whether she would be able to have more children and provide an heir to the Norwegian throne. However, she went on to give birth to Princess Martha Louise in 1971, just 1 year after the miscarriage, and Crown Prince Haakon in 1973. The Queen's mother, Dagny Haraldson, and father-in-law, King Olav, provided support during this difficult time. Thanks for watching our video about King Harald V and Queen Sonja of Norway. Their story of secret love and breaking royal rules is truly amazing and inspiring. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more stories about royalty and history. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. Do you know any other royal love stories we should talk about? Tell us in the comments below. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.